Welcome, nutrition class. Today, we're going to be explaining caffeine, giving you some into depth detail on what it can do for you and what are the effects for you and what are its problems for you. So, enjoy. Thank you.
So the first section is what's caffeine in general. So caffeine, also known as 1,3,7-trimethylxanthine, is a stimulant found in over 60 plants worldwide, including coffee beans, tea leaves, cola nuts, which are used to flavor some of your favorite sodas, and cacao pods, which are used to make chocolate. The most common use of caffeine is to make humans feel more awake, but it also acts as a deterrent of pests for the plants that it's naturally found in due to its bitter taste. It's considered the most commonly used psychoactive drug in the world, and aside from the natural caffeine that is found in some of the plants around the world, synthetic caffeine or man-made caffeine is also added to some medicines, foods, and drinks.
So now, what are the effects of caffeine on your body? So to start, too much caffeine late in the day can actually erase your body's natural sleep cycle, messing up your melatonin levels. It can also cause a mild case of dehydration because it is a diuretic. The effects on your mental performance are variable. Data hasn't been conclusive because there are so many different kinds of caffeine, whether it's pure caffeine or things like coffee and soda. It is addictive, and while not as addictive as nicotine, a sudden quitting can cause withdrawal symptoms. Caffeine can also be hard on your bones and cause you to lose about 5 milligrams of calcium for every 6 ounces of coffee. And when pregnant women consume too much caffeine, it can lead to birth defects in infants. 3 or more daily cups of coffee can also make it harder to become pregnant. Because caffeine is a diuretic, it will increase fat breakdown and cause acid release in the stomach, which can lead to an upset stomach if too much is consumed.
Some symptoms of withdrawal from too much caffeine are as follows: headaches, fatigue, insomnia, difficulty concentrating, and dizziness. Some treatments that could help is cutting back slowly on your caffeine, drinking a lot of water, and getting a lot of sleep. How much caffeine is too much? According to the FDA, for healthy adults, 400 milligrams a day of caffeine does not pose any dangerous or negative side effects, so anything over that can start to show some effects. 400 milligrams a day is equivalent to 4 to 5 cups of coffee or 2 energy shots. Everyone's tolerance is different towards caffeine, and therefore side effects that are shown in one person may not be shown in others. The more concentrated the caffeine is, the more likely you are to have serious health consequences. And this is a table of other sources of caffeine, because usually you would think that coffee is like the main source. However, there are different types of substances that can give you caffeine.
So now we're going to talk about caffeine effects on sports. Recently, in some empirical articles, they've concluded that at specific quantities, caffeine can increase endurance and resistance to fatigue, increase speed and power output, and they actually did not see any dehydration or ion imbalances while within the athlete's health, and it physically enhances an athlete's performance. So they saw differences in times or like power output and stuff. So a fun fact is that caffeine between 1984 and 2004, the World Anti-Drug Association banned high concentrations of caffeine in all Olympic events, which just comes to show how much caffeine can actually enhance your performance. And so here are some things you shouldn't, or if you are any of these things, you should not drink caffeine. So if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, have migraines, have sleep disorders like insomnia, have irregular heart rhythms, have high blood pressure, are prescribed certain drugs like certain stimulants, antibiotics, heart drugs, or are still a child or a young teen, because it is not recommended to ingest caffeine under the age of 18. So that includes your seasonal Starbucks drinks that you like the peppermint mocha. You should not drink those.
Right on. Okay, guys. Now that you guys have like a moderate idea of what caffeine is and what are the effects of caffeine, we found that it would be very interesting if we did a poll um, to see what people, if they even, drink caffeine, and, what kind of caffeine do they drink and how often do they drink it. So I took this poll and I went ahead and put it on my football band, thinking it's a communication that the coaches and student athletes use to communicate with each other. So this poll is strictly done on student athletes. So my first question on the poll was, do you drink caffeine? And as you can tell on the pie chart, a huge sum, or a large population said yes. So I said 80% said yes and 18% said no. Moving on to the next question. How often do you drink caffeine? So I split this up into three answers, blue being none, red being sometimes, and orange being often. And as you can see, almost 54% said they drink caffeine sometimes. 30% said they drink caffeine often, and 15% said no. So the next question was, I wanted to see what kind of caffeine these people were drinking, because I know at this school we have a coffee. I heard Oregon's a big coffee state, and we sell energy drinks all over the place and pre-workout. So as you can see, 48% of the student athletes said that they do drink coffee. 24% said they drink energy drinks, and 27% said they drink pre-workout. And just take into consideration that we are student athletes, so we're constantly awake, and we sometimes don't have the right amount of sleep. So we're finding stimulants to help us get through our day. So just realize that a lot of these student athletes are drinking caffeine daily, especially pre-workout, supplementation into their workouts to get them pumping those iron and getting some big muscles. And yeah, thank you so much. Aloha.